Good evening, coach. How are you? Can you hear me?
All good? Yes.
Okay, wonderful. All right. So, yeah, almost 4 o'clock now. So, I think let's just get started. I've seen your resume. So, I'm going to just introduce you and then feel free to chime in as much as you want to whatever topics you want to discuss. Maybe it can be two ways or just you talking generally when someone as senior as you in cricket is going to talk. I would rather listen than chime in myself. So let's get started. One, two, three. Welcome to the Cricket in USA show with Ganesh Sanap. Here today with me, we have Coach Jatin Patel, who is a stalwart of USA cricket. He's been coaching, administering cricket in the USA for the past 34 plus years, and he's a member of the Cricket Hall of Fame. He has over 100 certifications in all sports, with cricket being his biggest passion. So, Coach, stage is yours. Give us an idea about your contribution to the USA cricket in the past, in the current state, and as we see in the future as well, because someone like you could help us a lot going forward as well.
Well, let me correct you a few things what you said on that one.
Okay.
I'm involved since I moved to the US way back in 1987, so it's almost 35 years now. And looking into some of my key projects is like I was involved in the very first pay-per-view here in US, especially from Sharjah in 1991 when India, Pakistan, and West Indies was moving on. Before that, I was kind of a hobbyist person, moved from the cricket city called Surat. Every street has a game, only cricket, nothing else. So it's a very hard to miss the game at early age. So I was one of the crazy person to put together almost 500 yards of copper wire on my roof to get even Radio Australia at that time. I wanted to listen BBC and ABC because at that time we had absolutely no cricket, no satellite, by the way. It was only happens if you have radio. And radio here in US, even today, it's all about AM FM. They never went to the shortwave we used to call 123.
Right, shortwave, yeah.
So that's hobby. And then I turned into a satellite dish in my own backyard by 1988. It was like 15-footer dish in my backyard just to get the satellite signal because I did find out during the days there was no internet, there was no cell phones, but word of mouth, and I used to know some people in West Indies, and I did realize that West Indies is getting their live matches from Australia. So during those days, I'm coming from engineering background, especially from electrical, electronics, and computers. So I did realize there is only way they can get this live telecast from Australia to here is got to be satellite, nothing else. We find out. After that, went to that venture. It was a Cali Broadcasting System from New Jersey to bring that first pay-per-view here in US. And at that time, again, there was no cables, no satellites. So only way is to reach out those big campuses here in US to put together a big satellite dishes. And some hotel used to offer a HBO and some other channels through the satellite. So that was the first major project. It eventually it did well, but then you expect the competition, and then you don't stick around with it. And other than that, my other major project is I turned into a soccer coach way back in 1993. It was early days, like we had cricket even today is the same thing. But when I jumped into the soccer, it wasn't a high school sport. It was not even a community sport. Only foreigners, you can find them at the parks and kicking around. But the momentum was good. And in a matter of 6, 7 years, soccer did pick up as a crazy momentum since 1996, I will say. But by
Well,
the
they had the
time
94,
1999,
94 World Cup in USA, right?
yeah.
That's what they.
But it's like couple of opportunities at the World Cup, and then the team did show their performances. That was the big thing, and that's attracted. And not only that, after that we had a lot of momentum going in terms of expanding the program, right? And that's basically get into the school, and they did find out how to engage and have more participation at the community level and school level, and that was the major. Not, they don't just find out the track, but the way the people involved. Even that time, we don't have that many people like we have in cricket today. If we compare, like when the soccer started in a progress in US, we don't have that much people who know the game and help them to develop compared to cricket. Like we have, if I read right, they're talking 200,000 people playing. It's a huge volume if they want to
It
start
is.
up
It
there.
is. Yes.
So in the 2008 was the one, my another initiative was like a US YCA, the youth cricket one. I joined Jamie Harrison and a couple of other fellows, and the intention was the good. That's what I impressed, and I joined them because I always wanted to take the game to the school. And they came out with the idea to offer a free equipment, cricket sets. So I developed my own way how we can educate America for cricket. That's the first thing we can do. At least once they know, our expectation is very clear. They can try if they know the game. So then after I started that one, so since 2012, I'm heavily involved in training PE teachers and coaches and helping the people so they can be engaged more at the grassroots level and help the new players as well as novices we call. There's a lot of American people don't know nothing about cricket. And the purpose is basically let's educate them so they can try and get involved in our game. And in like 2014, I got opportunity to develop a program so we can have a first ever coaching criteria. We can train our own coaches, we can say, without waiting outside help. And it's been successful. It is going well. And even today, I'm heavily involved with the main interest to help the coaches and PE teachers so they can train or explore the game for the newcomers and new students for many years to come. Besides that, I'm still coaching soccer. I'm also a baseball coach, but most of my role is a coaching and mentoring. Coming to that Cricket Hall of Fame is a very pride moment. Last year under Corona, they invited me to be an inductee, and it was a huge honor because if you look at those lists, I'm the only one from India who has not played international cricket, and being accepted as a Hall of Fame, it's a huge. It just gives me the more inspiration and motivation needed to keep continue and help the people, and that's what I'm doing with the USA Cricket also. If you know, I ran the first election because it was a historical, and then I was involved in coaching and umpiring committee and lead those proposals to be in place. It was accepted in November 2019, but then we are still waiting today, I will say, on administration side. Even I'm part of the development committee at the moment. I'm still waiting and hopeful to see action can begin. Absolutely. By the way, I like to give you good luck and wish you all the best for the election. I see you on day. I did backed out because when I register means apply for it, I had a different situation. And then by the time we had a deadline, I came out with the family. It's a decision. I'm
Right.
targeting
Right. Well,
retiring
we'll
from
see. Yeah,
soccer.
we'll see
Yeah.
when the elections actually happen and how it pans out. But yeah, help us understand your involvement with the previous administration and even prior to that, because since you've been part of the cricketing fabric since 1987, you have interacted with many NGB presidents in the past, and you were also involved with the ACF, right? The founding of the
Yes, I
ACF.
was part of the USYCA, part of the ACF. Don't go by those names. I also supported the USACA too, with the USA Cricket Academy and Global Cricket Academy. I think Ashok Patel
Oh
from New
yes,
Jersey,
yes,
and also the Rahul Sharma. And then I'm also involved with the California Cricket Academy since 2001. So for me, it's not about the organization and individuals involved in a game. For me, it's a game first, and I'm willing to whatever it takes. If I have opportunity to do something, I like to contribute. I never took a side because who is doing and why they are doing or who is against. No, it's not my business. Sport
right,
is a sport, has
right,
nothing to do with it.
right. So yeah, I mean, I've seen you all the time busy. I myself have attended your coaching seminars online, and I've seen your work, and trying to educate the wannabe coaches. So yeah, I think you're doing a wonderful job. How about local involvement? I believe you are based in Indianapolis.
Yes, I'm in Indianapolis, but nothing much involved at the local level besides just school teachers. I started Indiana school program way back in 2008, and 2000, I believe, 11 is the time we came out with the idea of certification because a lot of P teachers were asking me, "You come out and teach us cricket for 3, 4 hours. What are we getting out of it?" I mean, they are spending 4 hours of time to understand this game. We need to have some sort of at least appreciation. Like, hey, you did something. So here is a certification of participation. And then originally I had idea of certification of participate. But then few teachers came across to me and gave me the different idea. And that is what it triggers. I developed my strategy or curriculum to train coaches is based on two key criteria. Number one, how these PE teachers who never exposed to game wants to understand and learn this game. That is my first criteria. I ask them, and that is how I develop the skill. And then I ask them the second side. Once you learn this thing, how are you gonna translate or teach to the other scholars for many years to come? And that is the point we came out, and I blend a lot of my skills from the baseball and soccer coaching to simplify the process. Otherwise, we have cricket. You can see, I hear a lot of Facebook stories. People say, I've been there in 5 minutes, I introduce cricket. And some might say, I'm spending for 3 weeks and I'm still introducing. So time has nothing to do with it. Honestly, if we can simplify this game and give them best possible option in the shortest time is more important, which is we call it let them have a bat and ball and try. Period.
Right, 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 right. So, I mean, I don't have a list of questions, honestly. This is just a discussion, conversation about how you've been involved in cricket. What are you doing currently? I believe you're going to be part of the minor league uh, coaching.
Well, as everybody else, my bread and butter comes from the full-time job. So I work for the state of Indiana for it's my first and last job, I will say, 35 years. Already qualified for the early retirement, and
Retirement.
that is what I'm targeting in the next 2, 3 years probably. As soon as I feel a little bit comfort in a family situation to see where we stand in budget terms. But been involved in cricket since age of 9 from the streets of Surat. And then I reached almost all possible level in India before I moved to USA actually. And I missed it to playing my first class game. in 1985 because I already had a stamp to get here in US. And after that, this is my home state. I landed in Indiana first because before I get here, I had a master's admission in Purdue Engineering School. So technically, as soon as I landed, it was like day after Thanksgiving, or day before Thanksgiving, and I had to start my college in January. So I had absolutely no time to think about sport, and I had plenty of friends in US who told me about cricket, right? So I says, okay, family first, career first, let the cricket as a hobby. So I played a lot of cricket until 2002 at the league levels in almost 5 states before I decided to quit because my daughter was doing very well at state and national level. So I said, you know what, I'm going nowhere with my age catching up, and I don't want to have the same story going on with my kids, right? My parents give me the support, absolutely no question about it. But I was in position where I can support my kids much better than I could have in the past in India. And that is the reason I left the cricket in 2002 from all fields, I would say. Between 2002 to 2012, I was heavily soccer only. That's it. And that's how it's all started. But because of my game skills and level, I had a very good playing opportunities with some legends and against some legends. And even today, I'm just fortunate to have working with a lot of legends, I will say. Time to time, I got the opportunities to meet them, exchange our coaching knowledge and helping each other, and a lot of opportunity to working together. That is the beautiful thing to have, you know.
Right, right. So help us understand the cricket structure in Indiana and in the surrounding states. So that's one of the things this show will help us educate what cricket is going on. I know we have various leagues in different states, but yeah, from your point of view.
No, my situation in India, and I played heavily in Chicago, which is the Midwest Cricket Conference.
Okay,
That's
okay,
that league is there since 1965, and it's about 3 hour drive for me, any cricket ground in Chicago area, and that's what I played heavily. And we barely had like handful of uh, initially, we started with two, and I ended up with like 5 players. So we could take one car ride and go to Chicago and play for the other team like that. And then other target was the MCT, which is the Columbus, Ohio-based cricket tournament. It was started in 1996, but I did not join initially. But then by 1999, I did join that. It was like hour and a half from Indianapolis, so it makes sense to play those. But Indiana, we never had a league, and even today, I will say since 2000 or something, we only have one team. It's called a Cricket Club of Indianapolis, and that's only team can use the ground, but unfortunately don't. It's maybe expense or maybe have other different idea. I'm not sure about it, but only time I involved in that Indianapolis cricket ground is when we had a ICC level tournament or something going on. I did help the ICC Americas for that original Pepsi T20 qualifier here in Indianapolis. Then I was involved in a couple of combines. One of the big one was the ICC Americas combine, the first one. Then we had a like tryout for the US women, USA men's, and now you know that it's developing. Cricket has a many new venues now in last 3 years. There's a lot of locations are uh, building the good grounds, and it makes more sense to have the structure with a lot of cities being involved who are capable to host these national and other level events, which makes more fruitful down the road. I will say it can definitely uh, help the sport to spread the world around the country. You don't stick with one area like in New York or San Francisco. No, we need to move around everywhere possible. So it's doing well, and because of that situation where we don't have a league and don't have too many local teams, I highly focus on the school and college cricket in terms of the education. For another reason was Indianapolis is still headquarters for the NCAA sports as well as NFHS sports. So my goal, and even today I'm upbeat, if the school and college cricket has to take off, it has to be Indianapolis. There is no outside phone category because these are the governing bodies, we call it, for almost 100 years in US sport, except cricket. NCAA does 24 sports, NFHS does 18 sports.
What do you think? The national body, governing body of cricket, should be making a concerted effort to to get after NCAA and try to introduce cricket in the universities. How do you look at it?
I'm not sure if you know or not, but they did tried.
You did.
When
Okay.
ICC America's Pepsi 2020 qualifier was here, the whole ICC team was here from Dubai, and almost majority of the representatives from the South America or Americas were here in Indianapolis. They had a meeting with NCAA. I will not disclose much details on that one, but I can tell you one thing is simple. They tried. Not sure why it did not go further. And you can be a judge on that one. But even today, I feel that's only a venue we have if we have to develop the game in this country. Because if you look at all these professional sports like NBA, NFL, MLS, or baseball, look where they're getting players. They get drafted from the NCAA tournaments and NCAA sports. NCAA is the platform where they scout those players from the high school sports and giving them the scholarships as a support to become the professional sportsmen. And the high school is recruit their players from the middle school. Now this is the only proper channel they have for almost every US sports except cricket. So I will say it's a very difficult to move forward and sustain the cricket in this country if we don't go align with the other US sports. Because that is the culture, that is the system where they're getting scholarships as well as academic support to become a professional. The other setback maybe is down the road is if we don't align that way, then we don't expect too many kids and too many college students will be playing cricket because it takes so many days off. You have to take off time as a, we call it, unexcused. In high school system, if the school is involved in any extracurricular activity as a accepted or recommended activity, the principal will grant you a excuse absent. What that means is it will not count against you for skipping school because you are going for a reason. They will cover your homeworks. They will cover your classwork. If you're missing, they might offer you a tutoring. They also try to give you the help in terms of the exams and tests so you don't lose the grades.
Right.
But unexcused absent falls off. If there is a test on that day, you have got F. It going against you. And that is not the any student want. And because of that, if you look at it in last 5 years, we don't have that many under 19 players from 2015 to now. Majority of them are fall off because they are staying in college. They cannot skip those colleges and mess up with the grades and their academic career to have so many days off to attend cricket. And that is a huge concern. And even I'm telling you, even the youth we have like plenty of kids playing right now, but it's all good until they reach the high school. By the time they reach high school, I will say by the sophomore year, which is the second year in high school, you expect them to leave the game, because that's the time they usually realize where they need to go in terms of the sports. As well as in this country, your high school grades are more important to set forth your career, what you want to be, which colleges you want to try to go. So it's not something, high school is the platform where you want to pull somebody, don't pay attention to the grade. No, it's a serious business. So that is the reason we don't see too many kids from the junior and senior year in high school being involved in cricket. And by the time they go college, it's almost,
Yeah, the
they're
interest
leaving
has
the
totally
interest
died down.
behind.
Yep.
Yeah, they're leaving the interest behind. That's it. I will not say they quit the cricket, but they are least interested to be actively involved on a regular basis. That is what's happened.
I will attribute one of those things is most of the kids that we've seen over the years are kids from the South Asian community where importance to education is one of the primary things. We need to get more and more, not just South Asian, but we need to get kids from all ethnicities more and more. I would want to say, and then an interest importance to sport is also one of the things that needs to be stressed upon. I would want to find out now that you've told that they did attempt to go to NCAA to try to get in colleges in the right way. I would want to find out more what panned out, but I would want to understand that. Yeah, I would want to think that we just don't have the numbers, right? If you look at it, you need any college. They will go and ask how many. Do you have 200 students playing the sport? Are they interested in the sport? Only then they will want to give some sort of thought to it, right? What do you say?
Well, numbers are there. Whatever the NCAA does in 24 sports, I can get you numbers on any time. They do every year in terms of the participation, in terms of the engagement, in terms of the fans, in terms of the revenue they generate, and the top of that, how much scholarships are going towards certain sports. Okay, it's everything is there. Only the thing they don't pay attention to is a cricket. Let me tell you straightforward, because it's not a official sport. It's not even accepted or recognized sport, or they are not even recommending this sport for any level besides that recreational type where these South Asian clubs in university form their own team. And I believe now they have the two different opportunity to play. One was the American college cricket since 2008, and I believe in 2017 there was another thing happened. It's called a National College Cricket Association something.
Yeah, NCCA.
I've been to the final first time as a chief guest and honor that trophy presentation in Tampa. But even these two wings we have at the college sport is not something official linked to the university yet. The approach should be, by the way, the funding they get, if some colleges are funding, then the funding is coming because of this extracurricular activity. But in reality, the first step supposed to be the intramural sport, which is the college and university recognized program. And once you have the intramural sport, then the next level is to reach the NCAA. So we have a very long route to reach there. Uh, I will say previous administration did tried when we had these Ben Kavanaugh, Tom Evans, Tom Humphreys. They were talking about this thing. It was lasted for a few years. But the way we have these administrative changes in last 6, 7 years, looks like all administration team coming as a change of guards, and everyone is trying to figure out from scratch, I will say. They want to know inside from the zero. And by the time they do the planning and come with some strategy and planning, we have changes coming. That's what happened. I mean, like, I already seen that 3-time plan change in last 7 years.
Yep. Yep. I've been witness to it since 2001. I would want to say the various changes in the cricket administration, but it is what it is. It's something that is not under our control. What do you think about the
Absolutely.
yeah? What do you think about the the more recent cricketing activities that have progressed? One of the things that I definitely am excited about is they're paying more attention to the girls cricket, and they're promoting the girls cricket, women's cricket, which is to me, I think that's a much easier win. But what are your thoughts on that?
Well, this is all started in Indianapolis, if you don't know. This thing is being absorbed as a Title IX, where the women's sports funding is heavily, because if you look at it, it's a law made in 1972 about bringing the equality between the genders. So even today, if you look at it, whatever the scholarship funds we have at the college and university level, it's divided into genders. But look at the volume of involvement, especially like when you say football, then you have soccer, then you have volleyball. So if you look at all those sports, I think boys, mainly for football, I will say it's a huge roster. Their scholarship can drain out easily compared to the women who don't have that big rosters. They don't have big sports. They don't have big participation. So every year they are not using the full fund. They always have some remains, and those are carried forward, right? So that's a one reason we can target if it is a future. Women sport can have funding can come easily from the colleges. Then you ask for the boys. That's one reason. Number two, no doubt they are chasing success. Women's soccer is the
I
one
can see
even
that.
today. It's a
I
big
can see
thing to
that.
talk. So I think
Yep.
is nothing wrong with it
Yep.
to have a vision for it and dream for it. And yes, definitely, if girls can involve, it's happened. And the third biggest reason is the boys has a plenty of things to do, whether it's a high school or college, compared to girls. Girls don't have that sports activities. Like if you go in a high school, if you look at the essays, if you look at the chorus, if you look at the band, if you look at cheerleader, it's a majority of them is like a non-sport activity. It's
Right.
related to the sport, but
Right.
it's not a physical sports activity where you are competing against somebody, or other team or something. And these are my three criteria. That's we are going in the right direction to involve more girls and bring more women to the cricket. But at the same time, I think is the progress is doing really well. I'm super excited to say, looking into this under 19 squad, most recently announced, and also a national tournament. Even the senior team, they try to include a lot of under 19 players. And honestly, to me, we need the young legs in the cricket.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And don't forget that this country has a 1 million softball players, girls, up to college level. And if you turn few of them to the cricket, it can be a beauty. They are
Yeah.
ready to go in terms of throwing, fielding, fitness. Don't forget they can hit too. It's a matter of time. If we can develop the interest and create some transition and give them the opportunity to learn this game and let them practice. But the only setback we have, we are not trying to pull them yet into our system. And even we try to pull our system, they will definitely compare what they can get out of softball playing 4 years in high school and 4 years in college compared to what they get in cricket. Is not our goal. They will compare.
Absolutely. Yeah. So yeah, you would have to have some sort of a some sort of an incentive there for for them to even make a think of making a switchover. Of course, of course. So yeah, challenges are there in that aspect as well. So Jatin bhai, help us understand more as to your vision for cricket, as in what message you would want to give to future administrators and but so the reason I'm asking is because of your experience. You I have to ask you questions, then the wealth comes out of you. You're someone who's not going to so yeah, help us understand your thoughts on any advice you may have for
Well, only
administrators.
thing I will say, any sport is good for the health, and especially cricket has a many life learning essentials built into the sport itself. That includes team bonding, friendship, sportsmanship, leaderships. All these characters, means the quality does exist in a sport. So honestly, if you ask me what I have to suggest on cricket, so keep the cricket as a hobby, keep continue what you love to do or like to do, keep playing as a fun, but go without expectation. Expectation is the killer. If you're playing this sport to be a national player, then you'll be disappointed. Okay, this is what a lot of South Asian families don't understand. But if you compare, I'm not trying to say wrong or false statement here, but if you compare the NCAA sports, there are millions are playing. There are very handful of players are making Olympics or national. So that is what exactly going to be cricket. But hey, yeah, the inspiration is there, I will say. If you compare India, they are putting 14 players out of 1.4 billion people. Where in US, we are trying to pick up from these 14 players from, think the pool. Even today, I will say almost 90% or more, 98% or more American people don't play cricket. So if you look at this total population of US, if you take this 98% out, it barely leaves like 2%, which is technically South Asians, some Caribbeans, and some other countries where cricket may have been involved. So in that small pool, you have a better chance than you could have been in India or Pakistan or some other country, right? Number two, it's all about where you grow in terms of the family. I grown up in a family where my uncle was playing cricket every Saturday, Sunday. Don't forget, Monday to Friday every evening. So now, when you're growing up in this family and you see your senior, either parental side or the caretaker, they are involved in these sports, they will definitely follow that sport first. And that is what's happening in US. So I will say there's a lot of, we say South Asians, mostly Indians, I will say, involved in this cricket. Nothing wrong with it. We need to keep continue. But the thing we have to do is they have to do well, they have to get better, and that's how you can reach out your community and school like you're doing something great compared to the others. If you're just playing, then it does not give any inspiration or motivation to the others to come out and watch you or join you. And then that is the thing we need to look into, and we all trying best how we can increase the engagement and participation and reaching out more community schools, those sort of things. And it's a matter of time to go that plan as an expansion, because always we all know that budget is the key issue anything you do in life, right? And this is administration is working hard to get going. But I believe with this minor league and the major league can set for the one thing is good, that once we have that caliber tournaments, then the rest of the things will fall itself, because the participation will increase because everyone wants to be there.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you for your thoughts, Coach Jatin. Sincerely appreciate. I always look up to you to, follow your cricket posts, your interviews, your thoughts on cricket in USA, cricket in life in general. So, Jatin, bhai, thank you very much, and we will stay connected. Thank you very much, sir.
No problem. Thanks for calling
Appreciate
in.
it. Thank you
Thank
very
you
much,
and have
sir.
a good
Take
night.
care. All right. Bye now.